Hey guys, it's Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today's video is a little bit different. It's about, I just figured, kind of got the message that I need to put this out there for people, that you guys should be getting your health screen, that you guys should be getting your checkups. I know a lot of people don't like to go to the doctors, and I mean, who does? Even hypochondriacs, I really don't think they like going to the doctors. But anyway, I still think it's important for people to take charge of their health and not just, ignore it, hoping that everything's gonna be okay, because, even like with automobiles and houses and things like that, the longer you ignore things, the more costly and bigger the problem is going to be. So it's always good to know what's going on with your body, and it's your body. You really only have one body in this lifetime, so it's good to take care of it. When you're young, it's kind of okay to put whatever you want in the tank, but as you get older, things start catching up with you. It's time to pay the piper. There were several people in my family that never really took care of themselves, and as they got older, it was just like one ER visit, hospital visit after another, and it just became this really like long, drawn out death, basically. And that's something that I never want to burden my family members or relatives or friends with when I'm older. When I go, I just want to go. We had this health screening at my high school where I teach. Basically, the school district put this, it's called the SISC, or Self-Insured Schools of California, screening out for all the schools in the district, and they were trying to get people to go in and get their screenings. At first people were like, I don't know if I want to go, but then they said it's free to you. You can just walk in. You don't even need an appointment. I mean, you can make an appointment if you want to. You can come in during your prep period. You can come in during lunchtime. It's free for all of your dependents, and just come in and get screened. And then they tried to even bribe people with a $15 Amazon gift card because they know that health is important. And in order to keep insurance costs down, we need people to not be just using the ER so much for, when you let things go until the last minute, it becomes a problem, and there's so many people in the ER. Not to say that, some ER visits aren't, aren't avoidable. Sometimes it's just like it's not avoidable. You gotta go to the ER, but sometimes it's because a problem has been ignored so long, or somebody is feeling a little ill, so instead of making a doctor's appointment, they go into the ER, thereby filling up the ER, a mixture of people that really actually need to be there, and a mixture of some people that probably could have made a doctor's appointment. So it makes those insurance costs rise, and so they're trying to just make people aware of what's going on within them. And me being a personal trainer, I'm a coach, I'm well aware of what's going into my body and how I feel, but it's also good for me to also go to the doctors as well and kind of look at my guts, what's going on inside. For the health screening, I'll just show you guys some of my numbers down here. This is what they did for us. They took our blood pressure. I mean, that's kind of normal. They check your pulse, and then they do a little pinprick, like the little diabetes pinprick, where it doesn't even hurt. And they just squeeze a little drop of blood out of your finger, and they run a little blood test like right there. It takes like 3 minutes, and they get your total cholesterol, your HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterol, and then they get your glucose to figure out if you're pre-diabetic, borderline diabetic, you have diabetes. Then they go into your waist girth, your hip girth, your waist and hip ratio, which is a good indicator for cardiovascular disease, and then they take your body fat percentage. And they also do a BMI, but your BMI test, which is your body mass index test, isn't such a good indicator if you're really athletic, so that's why they need the body fat percentage. So somebody like myself, where I work out a lot and I have a lot of muscle on my body, it may appear that I'm a little heavier set than I should be for my height, but when you check out my body fat percentage, you realize that most of the mass on my body is muscle. So yeah, those are good numbers to know, and I don't think that you're, too young to go get it checked out. If you're a little kid, maybe not, but But you know, if you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, definitely if you're in your 40s and on, you should know what's going on with your own body. You shouldn't leave any of that up to chance. They also give you this little test result form that kind of goes over all of your numbers. There was somebody there that was that talked to us and was able to go over those numbers with me and let me know kind of what this meant, what does this number mean. But then they sent me home with this form so that I could, you know, in case any of that information seeped out of my ears somewhere, that I could, you know, go over it with people in my own family and possibly have them go get checked out. So I strongly encourage you guys that if you haven't already done so, get your kids checked out, get yourself checked out. I mean, getting your kids checked out is no brainer. Usually a parent is very, you know, mama and papa bear for their kids, so they will do everything in their power to keep their child healthy. So regular pediatrician visits are the norm, but usually once a kid's out of the pediatrician age and they become an adult, it seems like people just don't go to the doctors anymore until a problem occurs. And sometimes that happens with people's cars or people's houses. It's like, we're just gonna wait until something happens. I'm just gonna wait until my transmission falls out of my vehicle, or I'm just gonna wait until the roof caves in. You know, it's good to keep regular maintenance on things, you know, whether it's the roof over your head, it's the vehicle you drive, or it's the body you live in. You gotta keep some regular maintenance. So here were some of my numbers, just in case anybody was curious. I mean, probably not, but whatevers. So my blood pressure was 99/66. So it's diastolic and systolic. So one number is the pressure your heart has when it pumps, and the pressure when your heart is at rest. So one is the beat and one is the at rest. My pulse was 95 at the time because it was the middle of the school day, and my pulse is usually rather high while I'm teaching. When I'm home, it's probably like in the 60s. My total cholesterol was 113. My HDL cholesterol was 67. My TC-HDL ratio was 1.7, and my glucose was 88. And they asked if I was fasting before I came in. I said, actually, I had a handful of blackberries before I showed up, and I did eat at nutrition break a couple hours prior, and then after that I was gonna go have my lunch. Okay, so just quickly for those numbers. So your, let's see, your blood pressure, says if you're above 140/90, that's an indication of hypertension. I was 99/66. Let's see, your pulse, like I said, it was a little high, but that's because I was in the middle of a school day and I'm a little tense when I'm teaching. My cholesterol, total cholesterol, a good number is anything below 200. I was 113, so well below. Your HDL, good cholesterol, which is your high density lipoprotein, those of you that were wondering. For women, they would like it at 55 milligrams per deciliter, and mine was 67. So anything over that is good. Your TC-HDL ratio, which is your total cholesterol HDL ratio, for women should be below 4.0. I was 1.7. My glucose, which is an indication of pre-diabetes, close to diabetes, like borderline or in the diabetes realm. Anything above 140 is pre-diabetic. I was 88. Okay. My waist girth, 28, my hip girth, 36. So my waist to hip ratio was 77, 78. And so 0.8 or higher, 0.80 or higher for women is an indication of increased risk for cardiovascular disease. They said they want people more in that pear shape and not so much the apple shape, because when people tend to put on weight, some people, they tend to put it on in their midsection, and when you have a lot of fat and stuff covering your organs and things like that, that's not so good. My body fat percentage, for women to be considered healthy is between 15 and 25%. but it also kind of depends on your age. I was 18.8%, which they said is kind of low for somebody my age. You know, I'm almost 36 years old next month. And so, but they said it was okay if I'm normally always a low percentage. Like, I'm not somebody who's like trying to lose weight, you know, actively, but I've always kind of been, you know, a lightweight. And that's kind of always been the case. I've always been kind of a stick, you know, I've always had a really high metabolism, but I take really good care of myself too. I don't just like let my genetics take its course. I want to help my genetics along a little bit. And then my body mass index, if you are between 18.5 and 24.9, you are considered healthy. I was 20.6, but then again, that number doesn't account for the muscle mass that I have on my body. I mean, it's really interesting to look at this stuff, and I definitely think that you guys should go get screened, or at least go in and get a physical, but know what's going on with your bodies. You know, how are you supposed to keep your tarot and oracle skills and your divination skills and your mediumship skills, you know, at its peak if the machine that you are using to take in that information is breaking? You know, you don't want it busted. You want to have a high performance machine as you're taking in all that information. Okay, so I will catch you guys another time. Hopefully you guys found this useful. I know this is not like my normal videos, but I really felt like I had to put this out there. Okay, and in case you're wondering, don't worry, I'm a ninja. So I will catch you homies later. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to click subscribe. If you want to get a reading with me at any time, or maybe some personal training sessions, then click the information box below and check out all that information on my website. So I'm wishing you guys the best. I'm wishing you long life, healthy life, and peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.